I have enough money to buy the slingshot now from Sarah's Sundries. Yo, Link, yo! Up here, dog! Faux rizzle, my nizzle! Hey, G-Unit. But that is Sarah's cat. She's sad that her cat is gone, so we can't buy anything because she's too depressed to make money. Even though her cat is literally within, like, 30 feet of her house, and she could just look over and see that it's there. So let's blow into another leaf. I don't really know how you're supposed to play a song on a fern like this. Maybe it's possible, I've never tried it, I don't really plan on trying it, it sounds a little bit unsanitary, but then again, most things are. And, yeah, using our friendly neighborhood hawk, we just steal a cradle from a monkey who happens to be on a rock. What do we do with this, you ask? Well, clearly we need a baby, so let's find someone to make a baby with. You'll do. Oh, you seem to be already cooking one up. This is awkward. No, this is her cradle, and, we're returning it to her because the monkey stole it. You can wait for her to slowly meander all the way to her house, or you can just run right past her and throw the cradle at her house. No, you don't have to do that. Thankfully, there was no baby inside that cradle, or else Link would be the worst parent. Hey, we got a fishing rod, which had to be painted for some reason, even though there's only stripes on it. That's barely painting it. Yeah, a little bit unpolished. And then she sits down. This isn't an important detail, but the fact that she sits down is just more attention to detail with this game. They didn't have to animate her sitting down, but they did. Because she's pregnant, and it would be silly for her to stand up all the time. I like it, it's great. So, let's do something about that cat. One thing that's different about this game is, your items are on a different menu from your normal pause menu. This is the normal pause menu, which you pretty much only use to save, and not much else, but it is still helpful. One complaint that I have with the beginning of this game is that it's kind of unclear. Like, there are certain things that I'm not sure how you would really know what to do without just trial and error. For example, throwing a hawk at that monkey and getting a cradle. I didn't understand what was going on the first time I played this game with that. And, see, I just caught a fish with my new fishing rod, so I guess that's it, I'm done now. I don't have to do anything else, do I? Did the cat just fall in the water? That's kind of awesome. But yeah, you're supposed to notice that the cat is now interested in your fishing, so you have to fish a second time. And it can only be here, it can't be anywhere else on the lake, because this is the only place where the cat is. The fishing seems simpler in this game than in Ocarina at first, but I feel like it's equally as involved once you get into optional fishing segments. But yeah, so you catch a fish, cat gets the fish, you make a face. The music is synced up with the... well, the cat music is synced up with the Ordon Village music. It's kind of fun. You can't skip this cutscene because it's super important. Most of the cutscenes in the game you can skip. I guess that one you can't because it's not really, like, revealing story. It's just telling you where you need to go next, so... it's kind of helpful that you don't skip that cutscene. But whatever, it's still funny because it implies that it's super important. And this is where I learned what sundries means. I'm pretty sure sundry is like an assortment of goods. Yeah, I don't think your cat caught the fish. He, kind of fell into the water. It was the best thing. So, yeah. I'm also going to point out more details. Wait, hold on. I didn't exactly mean to do that, but I guess while I'm still talking to her, I'll buy the slingshot. Whenever you buy the slingshot and she hesitates to give it to you, it makes me think that she's just not going to. Because in other Zelda games, whenever they hesitate like that... Oh, weird angle, because I was looking the other way. Children love this dangerous item! In Ocarina of Time, whenever they hesitate to give you something, it means you don't have the rupees for it. There's a mousetrap here, with a little bit of cheese, and it's very cute. I enjoy it. I don't think there are any mice in this game, so there's not really a reason for that to be there. There are rats, I think. Like ghost rats. There's a framed picture of her cat, and her daughter, but more importantly, her cat. All sorts of stuff. The reason I'm paying attention to all this stuff is because I did this thing called a leisure replay, or at least that's what I call it. It's basically a text let's play, and if you know what that is, it's like whenever you play a game and write a journal about your play sessions. But I called mine a leisure replay because I played it very leisurely. Basically as slowly as possible, trying to embrace all the little details that I didn't see before. Hey, Russell. Whose name I can't remember how it's spelled. I always get him confused with Russell from Up. And I know that one of them is spelled with 4 letters, but I can't remember which one. It's probably this one, because this game has the more unusual spellings for things. So he bothered to deliver something to our house. That's nice. I wonder what it could be, and why he had to bring it to our house instead of just giving it to us. And we get a stick. I mean, it's a sword, but it's a stick. So how did he get this big iron treasure chest into our house, our tree house, which is only accessible by a ladder? He just went up the ladder with one hand and carried the whole treasure chest in the other. Then again, I guess it makes about as much sense as the cow in Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I just kind of found money lying around. It wasn't hard. I'm sure it's all respawned. You kids could make a living just like I am by smashing pumpkins and destroying the villagers' food. Kinda like these tutorial segments. The dialogue is fun. It's a little bit weird to me that there aren't more tutorial segments like this. There are only 2. One is for the slingshot, one is for the sword, but I guess it makes enough sense because one teaches you how to aim and the other teaches you basic combat. And that remains useful for the rest of the game. But whatever. Perfect accuracy. And Mallow, because he shows no expression, he shows surprise by opening his mouth and then closing it. Love it. We want to get the monkeys good by slashing them with swords. Great idea, kids. Against my better judgment, I'm going to teach you how to use a sword. Or a stick. It's just a stick. We want to see that move! The slice! In other words, one of the only moves. Alright, B. I did it. Is it just me, or does... Well, he actually has a stick. Is it just me, or does, Tallow look like Pit from Kid Icarus Uprising? Especially whenever he's swinging his stick sword. Not like that, that's kind of a wimpy stick sword swing, but earlier whenever he was trying to be more fantastical about it. You know, that little twirly thing. It's not exactly a little twirly thing. This is like the biggest attack in the game in terms of radius. Yeah! I love how they break the fourth wall so thoroughly here. Where you just hold L and press A. Oh yeah, real tough. Yeah. I forgot what I was doing for a moment. I just read what I was supposed to do, and it just slipped my mind. Lots of things slip your mind whenever you're making fun of your favorite characters. And it's a monkey. With a noticeable rear end. Considerable rear shelf. So plays the music that I call the Wall-E teaser trailer music. Because if you remember the... Do you remember the teaser with Wall-E where... It was like the first thing that they showed of the movie. He's just kind of looking up at the sky after putting a bunch of garbage cubes together, and then this music plays. It's dun 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 dun, and so on. And this music is just... I forgot something. But it's the same music to me. And it even raises up a little bit later, like... Dun 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 dun. Same music. Although it also sounds a whole lot like this music from, I think, is it Yoshi's Island DS? Because there's a song in that game that goes something like dun 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 dun. There are lots of really similar pieces of music in video games and movies and everywhere else. I had to get this horse, because there is something that barely qualifies as a puzzle here. You see that gate? You can only get across it with your horse. And there have been a few times in this game where I've just gotten totally stuck there. And I had no idea what to do, and all I had to do was go get my horse. Whom I keep referring to as my horse, even though we gave her a name, and it's Epona, and that's her official name. But it's just kind of a habit. We had a dog at one point. Her name was Naomi, but I just kept calling her Dog. Because it was funnier. Here, go on, guy! And we get a lantern, which will be used like 3 times. Another complaint with this game is that there are a lot of things in this game that are kind of only used once, and then never again. Which I don't really mind. It does feel like a little bit of ungraceful design, I guess. The fact that there aren't things that are just utilized throughout, which is something that they kind of tried to fix with Skyward Sword. And so all the items in that game, there aren't very many of them, but you use them all throughout the game for different purposes. I guess I don't mind, because the fact that the game gives you items that you only use for a little while and then moves on to a different item and uses that one in a lot of different ways kind of keeps the game fresh and interesting as you play through it, and there's a lot of variety, so I can appreciate it. Like I said, it does feel a little bit ungraceful, like maybe certain things were unutilized well, or not utilized well enough. Like, this lantern probably could have been used for way more things than it is. But oh well. The game still impresses me for a number of different reasons other than that, so... Can't complain too much, except I just got run into by the Zelda universe's equivalent of a Venus flytrap. I got seeds. Just what I always wanted. I really enjoy how this game looks. Another complaint with this game. Yeah. People don't like the bloom in this game. People say that it's too blurry. And even though there are certain parts of this game that have a ton of bloom, I don't really see it as a problem, because I think it's beautiful. I think it's a problem in Wind Waker HD, which I haven't played. I've only played the original. I think they're about the same. Just HD seems to have improvements with the gameplay. So if I played it, I would probably prefer the HD version over the original. I just think the graphics don't look as good. Or the graphics are better, but the visual style doesn't look as good to me. Because I think the cartoonness and the bloom clashes.